Right, this could be entertaining because in this particular video season, and in this series of videos, what I meant to say, I'm going to try and teach you how to make the classic of all retro video games. It's the very first game that ever came out. It's called Pong. And I'm doing this like from scratch. I haven't even attempted to have a go at this. Let's show you Pong first of all. When I was a kid, this is Pong. I've got a little arcade original Pong. It goes a little bit like this, and it's basically tennis. There we go. And if you see what happened there, if the player on the he's going to do it again. It's 2-2 in that exciting game of Pong, and all that happens, the ball goes there, and if you hit it, it comes off at an angle, and the other person tries to hit it back. There, fantastic. This is what we had when we were kids, and you kids have got PSPs and Wii's and Xboxes and all these sorts of things, and we had Pong. I'm going to make this in Scratch. I'm going to attempt to anyway. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm just going to make the background. So back into Scratch, I'm going to go to my stage, and I'm going to go to the background. The background here. I'm just going to edit this, and I'm thinking that we need a paint bucket, and we're going to choose like a black colour, and we're just going to go bang, and there we go. There's my lovely black background of Pong. Now if you go back to the arcade original, it's got a dotty line down there, and you know, I can do this quite easily by using a brush, for example, which I can take to be white, and I could draw. Let's get my brush size. I think we'll get that up a little bit here. Let's try that, and I could, if I wanted to, sort of draw a sort of a line down the middle like so. That's pretty rubbish, isn't it? So I think I'm going to Control Z and undo that. I think I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to have a white line somewhere down the middle of the screen. So I'm going to use a solid line. There he comes. Oh. And let's go. Oh gosh, it's a bit difficult to control. Oh, one. Is that straight? Oh, it was, and then it wasn't, and then it is. Yeah. So I've got my sort of halfway line. I'm not convinced it's exactly in the middle, but hey, I'm not too concerned about that. Now, when we're playing the game, we're going to have our two paddles that go like this and like this. And what I want to do actually is to if you imagine if they miss this paddle here, misses the ball, and the ball goes woo past there. I want it to hit a colour on the background here, so that we can sort of count the scores. It basically will stop the game. So, someone got a point. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take oh my gosh, my cursor's a bit laggy today. I'm going to take a rectangle, which I'm going to use a slightly, not quite that dark. I'm going to go with this colour here, and I'm just going to draw a little rectangle. So I can get this quite accurately right in the corner, and I'm going to draw myself a bit of a shaded area. It's a bit large, isn't it? So all I want is actually around about, and what you should see is a slight grey rectangle down the side there. I'm going to choose a different grey now, and I'm going to draw a rectangle on the other side. So hopefully that should be kind of cool like that. So I actually have two different grey rectangles. If you like, you can think of them as scoring zones. I think we'll call it that. Anyway, I'm going to press OK, and you can find now. Let's get rid of that cat. We don't want that cat. Let's get rid of that sprite there, which I'm just going to delete it actually. There we go. So there we go. I've got my background. I've got my two scoring zones in slightly different colours, and I think what I need now in this first video is to make a couple of, well, bats really, isn't it? Paddles, I think they were called in Pong. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to paint a new sprite. And what I'm going to do is, I want kind of a white rectangle, so I'm going to go white. It doesn't really matter which colour white I'll choose. Let's go with this one here. And it's going to be a little bit difficult to see, I think, actually, on this background here. But let's just do that like so. And trust me, there is a bit of a lighter area there. I'm going to press OK. And what we can see is my sprite is actually here. Here's my paddle. And I'm just going to move this one over here. Do we think it's a bit on the big side? I think because I'm going to have to control this game, I think it probably is, but that'll do for the minute. Now there's one paddle on this side, and of course I want one paddle on the other side, so I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to take another paddle, which I'm just going to put over there. I think I've got my halfway line not exactly in the middle there. It looks a bit more ground to cover on this side than that side. So let's start off with something very easy in this particular video. I want these paddles to go up and down. So how am I going to do that? Well, let's go to this one here, which is sprite number 1, and I want to assign keys to make it move up and down. So let's start a little script here. Let's go to Control. So when this is clicked, we'll just drag this over here, and we'll go to Motion. Now, once again, I guess you're kind of used to this now. I'm going to go back to Control. I want this to be forever. So I'm just going to pop that there. So whenever anyone presses a key, I'm going to want it to be forever. Actually, thinking about it, I don't want that forever, do I? I'm going to want forever if somebody presses a key. So if somebody presses a key, let's say we'll assign this now. Let's go to Sensing, and this is the left-hand one. So I think I'll use the A and Z key to go up and down. So if somebody's drag that onto there, if the A key is pressed, what do we want on the motion to happen? We want this to change the X position. Well, what do we want it to do? By 10, I'm thinking it's not X. That's going to move it across the screen. Let's drag that one back. I'm just testing you with that one. Let's change the Y by 10. Let's run this now and see what happens. I'm pressing the A key, and look at that, it's gone up. But of course, I also need it to go down. So I'm thinking that I'm going to want to stop this now. I'm also going to want the command, basically if the Z key is pressed, then we're going to change the Y by -10. Okay, so I could do this in one big script. I think just to make life an easier, I think what I'll do is we'll just do a second one here. Okay, so when that one's clicked, let's grab another forever if into there, and let's go to our sensing, and we've got when the let's drag that over even. When the Z key is pressed, Z, where are you? There you are. And we'll go to Motion, and we'll change the Y by, this time instead of +10, we'll have that as a -10, and we'll press that. And now what we have is I've got a Z and an A, which lets me move my paddle up and down. Now I'm not going to bore you with having to do this on this one, but on this sprite, if we select 2 even, of course what I really want is to, actually I will bore you with it, because let's face it, all I've got to do, go back to sprite 1, and what I can do is grab those 2, even, let's grab the whole thing. We should be able to drop that onto there, and we'll drop that one onto there. But of course I don't want Z and A on this one. I'm going to go with when the up arrow, I'll use up arrow and down arrow for our player 2, and what we now have, if I run it, is of course I've got Z and A there, and I've got up and down here, so I can have 2 paddles going, and I can have a 2-player game. Well, I think that makes perfect sense, and I'm sure you're bored of my voice, so why don't you hop off now, and you can create that background, and you can create your 2 moving paddles.